The most important rule is not the First Amendment. I'm on one of the NRA committees, the Education Committee of the NRA. The Second Amendment is not the most important. They're both really, really important. The most important rule in any organization is who has the power to make the rules. That's it. And there's two provisions in the Constitution about who has the power to make the rules. It's Article 1, Section 1, and Article 5. Those are the provisions about who has the power to make the rules. Article 1 is about making ordinary law, like statutes, and Article 5 is making constitutional law. That's what it's about. And who has the power? Ordinary law. Congress has 100% of the power. The president shouldn't make law. I don't care if he has a phone and a pen. He shouldn't be able to make law. The agencies shouldn't be able to make law. They can make recommendations, but it violates Article 1, Section 1's original meaning if they can make substantive laws that bind private people and private property. If they can make an administrative regulation about the operating hours of the Washington Monument, okay. If they want to have a dress code for the Department of Justice, fine. Administrative rules are fine. I believe that it violates the principle of self-government and Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution when you are able to have the president and the EPA and all these other people make law. One more quick thing. When the Founding Fathers said that treaties would become part of the highest law of the land, they thought treaties would be restricted to their original function, and that is how nations treat other nations, not how nations govern their own citizens. The founders never believed that treaties could be used to govern the domestic policy of the United States, but that's what's happening. And I could name 20 more abuses, but all the abuses I have given you are sufficient to say this. The federal branches, the administrative branch, the executive branch, and the congressional branch, the legislative branch, have all seized powers they were never given. And the Supreme Court is complicit in all of this because the Supreme Court has said every time, that's okay, go ahead and do it. And what we're facing is that we effectively have two constitutions in this country. We have, and so if you told the federal government they're not following the Constitution, they would say, that's not true. And in their mind, they say it's not true because the Supreme Court has blessed their practices. Now, once in a while, the Supreme Court will slap their hand, but it's the rare occasion. The vast majority of what I've described for you, the Supreme Court said that's just fine. Because there's one rule in Washington, D.C., and that's this. You always increase the power of Washington, D.C. And all three branches of government are in on it. And it's not a conspiracy behind scenes or anything. It's just shared values. It's the conspiracy of shared values. It's their political, legal, moral, quasi-religious, godless worldview, but it's still got some religious overtones to it. And so it's conspiracy of shared values, not this hidden. It's all out in front for us all to see. We don't have to go reading behind any sneaky documents. It's all there. We can all see it. And so if we're going to fix all this, you ultimately have to fix these Supreme Court decisions. And the question is, how do you do that? Normally, there are only two methods of fixing a Supreme Court decision, at least a Supreme Court decision that it refers to the Constitution. And that is either you get it reversed by a different Supreme Court or you pass an amendment to the Constitution.